Right, welcome to this week's EMBN Show, where I'm joined by Martyn Ashton. How you doing, Martyn?
Hello. I'm all right, Neil. It's good to be here.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, haven't been next to you in a show for a while.
No, good old days, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Let's do it.
I think Steve's busy running, unfortunately, at the moment.
Yeah, he's off on a run. No, that's ridiculous. He's getting better.
Anyway, the topic this week for the show is motors, really, and I'm wondering if we are getting too obsessed with motors and not obsessed enough with the bikes they're going on.
How they actually ride. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, do you know what I mean? It feels like the numbers get talked about an awful lot, but less on the number side, more on the motors, and even the software as well gets talked about quite a lot. So should we be concentrating more on the bikes, Martyn?
I don't know, the numbers are the interesting bit. They really do take the attention.
I've got a good example here, because a couple of years ago, I rode a Specialized Kenevo SL, and that's one of the best bikes I've ever ridden. Basically, an E-assisted Specialized Enduro, 170mm of travel, great geometry, around 20 kilograms. It's the SL, so it's quite a lightweight bike. Had loads of adjustability with the reach of the bike. Had these cups, the headset cups, had flip chips on the rear.
It's a great bike. I know the bike. Yeah, I know the bike. Really decent range. Had like 320 watt-hour battery with a 160 watt-hour range extender. And I remember you did some big rides on it, maybe 70 kilometers one of the times. But that bike only had 35 newton meters of torque. Which is nothing.
It's pretty measly when you compare that to 105, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you know what? There were also rumours that Specialized struggled to sell them. And of course, they do have the full power Levo, which does sell a lot. So they're comparing themselves to each other. But it always surprised me that bike was so good, but you just didn't see them on the trails. And the rumours were they didn't sell hardly any of them as well.
Yeah, no, they did update the motor after that bike we talked about. Went up to 50 newton meters of torque, 320 watts of peak power, a third more than that measly power of the original bike we talked about. But it's still not proved to be as popular as the bike should have been. But why is that? Yeah,
it makes me think about the numbers taking the headlines. Definitely the bigger torques and the peak powers do change climbing and that style of ascending that people like Steve shows off all the time and Chris Ackery, of course, we've seen that recent video where they're just taking their climbing to the next level, and that low-powered bike was more like, the tailwind on the normal fire roady climbs that I do more of the time, I suppose. So you don't really have the punch to do that style of riding. So does it mean that we've entered this period now where manufacturers are chasing the bigger numbers to get our attention? The peak power, the newton meters probably is the one that everyone looks
just like one-upping each other all the time.
It feels a bit like we are going into that situation.
Do you know what, though? The most impressive thing, and I don't know if this is what you meant about the Specialized you were talking about, is the most impressive thing I felt on an e-bike is when the power has been delivered well.
Yeah,
like when it comes in the right way, it's like you're in sync, and I feel like that's where all of the actual competition between the brands is going to be, is who can deliver. Like, they're all going to have lots of power, but there's no good just dumping power down onto the pedal. You've got to deliver it.
There's a big difference in characteristics even now with the Shimano and the Bosch have the same torque number. They feel really different on the trail, and I don't really prefer one over the other. They're just different characteristics. The DJI is really good at delivering the power.
I've heard people say like the Amflow really does deliver that. It's got a lot of power, but it does deliver it well, so that is important.
Yeah, and that obviously did get a lot of headlines about the system. And the first question some people asked was, what about the bike? Which was obviously what the point I'm trying to get to is we want the bikes to feel like a great package and not necessarily be about the motor. And you might be right, maybe that is about the software, the delivery, and actually some of the riding aids possibly.
I think it is, because if you think about a MotoGP bike is unrideable without traction control. There's just too much power. No one can deliver the power the same way the computer can. And that's the really enticing thing we've got coming with e-bikes, is that brain that's on the bike is going to get better and better.
Yeah, you don't want it to be intrusive, but actually you want the benefits of it.
Yeah. No, it's interesting times. I wonder how they'll do it.
So I'd love to get your opinions on this. Arguably, that Specialized Kenevo SL was a great bike with a not so great motor, although I don't think so. But that's what everyone else voted with their pockets, with their cash.
Yeah, so it'd be good to know, have you had a horror story with the power delivery on your motor? Or is there a bike that you think delivers it particularly well? Let us know in the comments down below. Love to hear your view on how the bike you're riding is performing power-wise. Right, let's start this week's news with a brand new helmet. Met Revo from Met. Beautiful. 5 stars from Virginia Tech. NTA certified. It's got MIPS internal there. So flat rotational impact. Lots of coverage at the back. It's nice looking too, isn't it? It's a good looking lid.
Got an adjustable visor with a safety release system. You can also store your sunglasses, or my sunglasses, underneath the peak there. You've got rotational ratchet system on the back for super adjustability. That also has vertical movement up and down in 3 spaces, and a very nice fidlock chin strap. Super easy to get on and off. Price is, it's €200.
Yeah, and that is £169.99.
230 USDs.
Beautiful.
More product news. Industry 9 have launched their Hydra 2 hubs with improved durability and performance informed from their Mark 1 Hydra hubs. They sold over 100,000 of.
Yeah, they're designed for trail, enduro, downhill and e-bike use. 65% thicker axle to be way more durable. Larger bearings with full contact radial lip seals.
Also, foolproof bearing preload system so that the axle tightness doesn't affect the roll and performance. Larger pawl pockets with an extra tooth on the pawls and tougher material on the drive ring to deal with the extra torque of e-bikes.
Yeah, even faster engagement. Something Industry 9 were already renowned for. Available in wheel builds with alloy and carbon rib options, with the Industry 9 machined aluminium spokes for trail, enduro, downhill, dirt jump and EMTB wheels option, and available as a hub only as well if you want to spec the rest yourself.
Now, a bit of industry news to finish it off, Martin. Actually, Nuteproof, the brand that used to ride for GMBN, I used to ride the bikes, have just been acquired by the Belgian cycling factory. So potentially good news. Hopefully, well, we've already seen it, a return of Nuteproof. And they were also one of only a few brands that bought into that SRAM powertrain. It brought that bike to market in 2024, but went bust with the downfall of their parent company. Yeah, the Belgian Cycling Factory is the largest manufacturer from Belgium and already has some well-known road brands in their portfolio, like Eddy, Merckx Bikes and Ridley. More motor chat, actually. There was an article on the Bike Europe website talking about Porsche e-bike performance. The company that was founded in 2022 has said that batteries for the Porsche e-bike drive system will be made in Croatia from 2026 at the same time as the market launch of their first drive system, which is a motor gearbox unit that will be made in Germany. That's going to be big news when that comes out. It'd be really interesting to see what bikes that is spec'd on, if it's a Porsche bike or if it is on other OEMs, and the numbers are coming out, who knows? Cool places. Dave is riding down the Thredbo River, 40 kilometres of awesome single track. Maiden voyage, actually, on the Merida E160 8000. Very nice. Maiden voyage. Next, we've got F. Painshawd. Hope I've said that right. These pics have already been taken in Austin, Texas. Super rental, this one. Trek Fuel EXE, aluminium, in and around the Greenbelt Park and Barton Creek. The Barton Creek ends at the junction with the Colorado River. It's a great looking spot, isn't it? And now we're heading over to the North Atlantic. This is Iceland. This is Ivar Jan, riding the snow on 2 beautiful Orbeirs in their natural habitat, is it? We've got a wild and an Orbea rise. Check out the snow. Is that their natural habitat? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Some great places, though. Made me want to get out riding. They did. Right, heading into the feedback from last week's show. Steve particularly did the show with Owen, but Steve was doing lots of maths, which we can talk about. The comments were talking about the maths quite a lot. Marcus Ilomaki says, Steve, you convinced me mountain biking is insanely expensive. I'm going to sell my bike and go running.
Oh no, what's Steve doing with this running gig? He's turning everybody off bikes. Steve, you're going to have to stop. Mr. Toby 31970. It's about having fun on your bike. Some people like expensive equipment and ride once every 2 weeks, and others ride a second-hand bike and ride 3 times a week. Hobbies cost money. Most important is having fun. That's very true.
Jared Matthews, I sort of agree with Jared here, he says, I ride my e-bike way more than I did on any of my prior mountain bikes simply because it's so much fun and doesn't require as much recovery time. Regardless of whether someone rides a pedal-assisted bike or not, I would recommend finding a hobby that is thrilling to them, as this really adds something that is priceless to living.
Yeah, I definitely agree with this very last one from Alan Gravy. The joys of man maths. They can be used to justify anything. That is very true.
I think he forgot his calculator, did he?
Yeah, I think so. Right, bike vault time, and first one is from Luck in the west coast of Scotland on his Trance, a Bafang.
Yes, this is an old giant Trance regular bike. Luke says, only good for a skip after investing 3.5 grand, gave it new life as an e-bike with Shimano hub, gears, egg rider computer, BBS motor and 940 watt battery.
Great home build.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice, super nice.
Have you seen this one? The picture here is amazing. This is Iceland again.
Wow, that background is incredible.
Look, that's cool, isn't it?
From Leifa Harrison.
How do you say it? Is Cook your full mountain?
Yeah.
You've probably seen that in the
My
movie.
pronunciations are lucking out here, but it's a great looking photo, great looking bike in a great place.
Super nice, gotta be.
Gotta be.
Next up, Nukeproof, Doobie's Nukeproof.
That's an easier name to say, isn't it? Doobie.
Yeah.
I can do that one.
This is Llandegla, riding Nukeproof Megawatt, Ergon E saddle, Hope Tech E4 e-brakes. Very happy to make it all the way to the top without stopping for the first ride. Yeah. I know the feeling. That first climb at Llandegla is one hell of a drag.
Super nice, for sure. Dale Webb next with his YT decoy in Horton Regis. That is...
I think they're good-looking bikes, aren't they, those decoys?
Yeah, that looks like it's near one of those like children playpens at one of these outdoor parks.
I know what you mean.
There's quite often good trials riding in those things, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I've ridden quite a few.
I bet you have.
Children's playgrounds who's riding over all the things that's supposed to be like, you know, playground stuff turns into bike trials furniture.
Super nice for the YT, I reckon. Now this, I've never seen this bike. So this is Kurt Spieles riding a San. In the Blue Marsh in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
It is.
That looks freezing.
It's a crazy looking bike. It's a high pivot bike. It's got an idler at the top. I need to look that bike up because I don't know anything about it. I'm going to Google it, check it out. But I think that's super nice.
And last one we've got is Andy Toy. And he's 51-year-old man recently diagnosed with diabetes due to being a lazy git. His words, right?
No, Andy.
The missus is like, try a mountain bike, and he has. And he's got one of these electric ones. Lovely, that's Cube. It's very cool. Dropping it out the van, getting ready for a good ride. Or actually looks... got a bit of muck on there, so coming back for a ride. Hardtail, like it.
And he says, easy, my arse. In fairness, it'd been raining all day. We ended up spending 4 hours on what should have been a 90 to 120 minute, 20 kilometre ride. Very good.
Well, good luck with the health kick.
Time for Getting Social this week. I found this really cool little video on Instagram, Martyn. Have you seen it?
Brilliant, yeah. What a simple idea.
I like the stand.
The bike stand is nice, isn't
Made
it?
by Metal Tech Fab. I guess you need a bike with a good skid plate on it, because I don't know if all my bikes... I guess a lot of these e-bikes do have the nice flat bottom to them.
Yeah, this pivot looks like it's set up perfect for that.
It's a pretty trick-looking bike as well, isn't it? Very nice, like it.
It's very cool. Clever use of the old walk mode there.
That is it for this week's EMBN show, but if you keep watching EMBN later on this week, I've made a video about 7 ways e-bikes are being destroyed and how to avoid it, so make your bike last a little bit longer. So stay tuned for that one later in the week. Thanks for joining me, Martyn.
No worries. Thanks for having me, and make sure you let us know about your power delivery stories in the comments down below.